Is Zelensky now directly challenging Putin's entire military strategy with FP-1 drones, using a $50,000 weapon to expose the vulnerability of a nuclear power's most protected strategic assets? Is Ukraine about to face Putin's full wrath after 12-hour drone flight tested Russia's defenses in ways no one expected, proving Kiev can reach targets deeper inside Russian territory than ever before? Did Kiev celebrate the Siberia strike too soon, as Putin quietly plots a revenge strategy that could hit Ukraine far harder than a single oil refinery attack ever hurt Russia? As Ukraine pushes its drones deeper and deeper into Russian territory, is Putin preparing a deadly new strategy designed to make Kiev pay an unbearable price for every mile those drones fly? Ukraine's longest-range drone strike on record has reportedly forced Putin to fundamentally rethink Russian air defenses, exposing gaps that Moscow's generals are scrambling to understand and close. On July 6, Ukraine carried out its longest-range drone strike ever, hitting a major oil refinery deep in the Siberian city of Omsk and sending shockwaves through Russia's energy and defense establishment. According to the Telegraph, the FP-1 drones flew for more than 12 hours and covered roughly 1,500 miles, a journey that redefined what a battlefield drone is now capable of achieving. The strike halted operations at one of Russia's top petrol-producing facilities within days of impact, delivering a blow to Moscow's fuel supply chain that rippled across the country's war economy. The attack is said to have deepened Russia's existing fuel shortages and contributed directly to forcing a nationwide ban on diesel exports, showing how one drone strike can produce national-level economic consequences. Analysts say Russia's air defense network was built and calibrated to stop NATO jets and fast-moving missiles, leaving it poorly suited to detecting and intercepting slow, low-flying drones that hug the terrain. Russian Su-57 stealth fighters scrambled in response to the attack but reportedly failed to intercept several of the FP-1 drones, a humiliating gap in Russia's most advanced air defense response. The FP-1 has a maximum claimed range of 2,100 miles, putting almost every significant target inside Russia within theoretical striking distance of Ukrainian operators. It is built with an enlarged fuel tank compared to earlier Ukrainian drones, giving it the endurance to fly for half a day without any support or refueling. An extended wingspan improves the drone's aerodynamic efficiency, helping it maintain stable flight over extraordinary distances at minimal engine cost. The FP-1 carries a lightweight payload, a trade-off that sacrifices raw destructive power in exchange for the range needed to reach targets deep inside Russian territory. Once launched, it follows a pre-programmed route autonomously, requiring no pilot input during the long flight and making it harder to jam or intercept. At roughly $50,000 per unit, the FP-1 is an extraordinarily cheap way to threaten facilities that cost Russia hundreds of millions of dollars to build and operate. Ukraine's production of the FP-1 is reported to have reached around 200 units per day, giving Kiev the numbers to sustain a continuous campaign without depleting its stockpiles. President Zelensky declared after the Omsk strike that Russia no longer has a safe strategic rear, arguing that Ukraine's drones have effectively dissolved the boundary between front line and home front. Zelensky described Ukraine's long-range drone campaign as a revolutionary change in modern warfare, framing it as a shift that has permanently altered how smaller nations can challenge much larger military powers. Ukrainian pilots and planners reportedly spent more than a week mapping out the safest possible flight route, studying Russian radar coverage gaps and patrol patterns before a single drone was launched. The chosen flight path was specifically designed to avoid Russian radar installations and air defense systems, threading the drone through blind spots that Moscow did not know had been identified. After launch, each FP-1 followed a pre-programmed route entirely on its own, removing any radio signal that could have betrayed its position or allowed Russian forces to jam its navigation. Ukraine had reportedly weakened Russia's S-400 and Panzer air defense networks through prior strikes in the weeks before the Omsk operation, deliberately clearing a corridor for the long-range drones to fly through. The CIA reportedly assisted in identifying safer routes through Russian airspace, suggesting the Omsk strike was not just a Ukrainian operation but a closely coordinated intelligence effort with Washington's direct involvement. Russia is reportedly overhauling its battlefield strategy as it looks to counter Ukraine's increasingly frequent missile and long-range drone attacks. Fresh satellite imagery reportedly showed that Vladimir Putin has redeployed key air defense systems from Russia's northern regions to the Moscow area. Even Russian-controlled territories inside occupied Ukraine may now be receiving additional air defense missile systems as part of the wider military reshuffle. Nearly 24 S-300 and S-400 long-range air defense systems have reportedly been relocated from the Russian city of Severodvinsk. The air defense network had previously been deployed to protect Russia's strategic nuclear-powered submarine shipyard, according to reports. The reported redeployment has notably left two major military positions at Yagri Island and Mironov Hill largely abandoned. Yagri Island, once home to 6 S-300 surface-to-air missile systems, is now reportedly left almost completely exposed. Mironov Hill previously hosted 8 S-300 launcher vehicles, but satellite images from 2025 reportedly revealed a dramatic reduction. Experts believe Putin's latest strategy assumes northern Russia remains sufficiently distant from the battlefield to accept reduced air defense coverage. An expert said, and I quote, "Trying to fend off Ukraine's drone and missile strikes against strategic infrastructure deep inside Russian territory, Russia is burning through its interceptor missile stockpiles faster than the defense industry can replace them. This has apparently forced the Kremlin to reallocate many of its air defense assets from lower priority regions to higher priority areas, such as Moscow, St. Petersburg, and operational zones closer to the Ukrainian front, including Crimea. The systems shown on earlier satellite imagery may have been dispersed, undergoing maintenance or replaced by other air defense assets. The apparent disappearance of S-300 or S-400 launchers is probably the result of a temporary redeployment rather than a permanent withdrawal, and the assets may be returned to their original sites once operational requirements elsewhere have been met." End quote. Another defense expert argued that Russia is now prioritizing the protection of Moscow and St. Petersburg above all other regions.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.